At the beginning of the story, we see that as soon as Lav Lu's eyes open, he is completely surprised. There are three very beautiful girls sleeping on his bed and he does not understand at all what has happened here. Then the ladies in the room are the daughters of the biggest heroes and you are found in the same bed with them. If your actions like this continue, then the respect of the entire country will be ruined. At the same time, his elder brother, known as the third prince, is present there that this Huan Yan is the king's daughter, Nangong Qingwei. After this, he pretends to be emotional and says that the responsibility of these three was on him. He has fought a war with their parents and he feels as if he has been betrayed. But Lav Lu listens to all their talk comfortably. Then he smiles and says, "Okay, so you want to get me out of here." He becomes completely sure that this whole trap was not set by his third prince brother. In anger, he straightens up but Lav Lu again. Bar keeps saying that only the third prince is behind this whole conspiracy. After listening to his son, his father ponders for a while and then says, "This boy is absolutely useless. My son, start suspecting that maybe Lav Lu has been framed," so he immediately orders the guards to release him and the guards also free him. As soon as he is free, Lav Lu says with his hands folded, "Look at you." Seeing this, the third prince again says that tomorrow. There was talk in the whole city about the disappearance of these three princesses and everyone was suspecting Lav Lu, but then their father interrupts him and says, "Now I am beginning to doubt you only." Verse 6, he swears that neither he had a hand in the events that happened before nor did he have any role in what happened last night. But his father angrily says, "These three girls have been given drugs. Look, they have not regained consciousness yet." Jod starts screaming, "Lao!" Lu shouts angrily and says, "You were the one who said that there are some crickets here and sent me to find them, now why are you pretending as if you have nothing to do with this whole matter? If you hate others then do it. But do not try to kill each other." Having said this, he himself moves towards his son to punish him. Seeing his father coming towards him in anger, the third prince gets very scared. "You also come with me." Lavalu leaves his brother there and follows his dad. While walking on the way, Lavalu's dad remembers that he has already met those three girls and wants to make them his daughters-in-law because this girl seems to be as tough on the outside as she is on the inside. On hearing this, his dad immediately gets nervous and says, "No, I didn't mean it like that." Lavalu thinks for a while and then says, "Do you want me to get married?" "Yes, I will marry all three of them, so it is possible that they might get suspicious about me." His dad puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "I am not planning anything like that, but when they have come here, you will have to talk to them politely and they have always been loyal to the empire, so Lavalu such a strict punishment should be given which becomes an example for everyone." Other elders sitting in the court also support him and say that we have always supported you so that we all can be satisfied in this matter. Lavalu stands there listening to all this and thinks in his mind that it seems that these people are not going to leave me so easily. Then his dad consoles everyone and says, "Don't worry, I myself am in this matter." He thinks that Sumrat is just trying to save his son. Lavlia's dad explains to them that the matter is not as you all are thinking, my son has really been framed and I am getting it investigated, in the meantime, there is no point in my living. Seeing this, Lavlia immediately reaches to her, holds her hand and says lovingly, "Mother." He tries to convince her not to take such a hasty step, but he immediately holds his hand. Then Lavlia very calmly says, "Mother, what was to happen?" "That's it, I want to marry your daughter." On hearing this, the whole house is shocked. Everyone starts looking at each other. One of them gets angry and if it is not done, there will be bloodshed here. On hearing this, Sumrat gets a little worried and while trying to make everyone understand, he says that it is okay that Lavaliu does crazy things but he never took the law in his hands. On hearing this, Sumrat also gets angry and says, "Who said that my son wants to marry your daughters? This is just your illusion." Then the old minister sitting there quickly stands up from his seat and says, "I am a genius, how can you say?" Then a young minister standing there speaks up, "My sister told me that she would only marry a man who was a martial artist," and along with him she then walked straight up to Hong Lian and said, "Mother-in-law, why didn't you tell me about your daughter's so many conditions earlier?" Hong Lian makes an angry face and says, "King, you would be shocked to hear you come such a useless person." He holds his head in anger and says, "If I had a daughter, I too would not get her married to this shameless boy. I don't know why I brought her here." Only then the old minister smiles. "I don't think you know anything about that subject." On hearing this, Lao Lu starts shaking his head, as if he doesn't know anything about it at all. The young minister standing behind starts smiling, and tells the court that the real problem is what is it and how can it be solved. As soon as the old minister hears this, his eyes go wide open. He says with surprise, "Really, you knew about this?" Then he says, "Well, you are our prince. Some people are making the lives of common people difficult just to fill their pockets." A devilish smile appears on the face of the minister and a slight smile appears on the lips of the young minister. "Then tell me, what is the solution to this?" General Jo says, immediately stopping his words. "First you have to tell us the solution to that problem." Lav Lu replies with a smile. "If you are ready to become my uncle, I will tell you the complete solution of mathematics." General Jo got very angry after hearing this. Ta is. He turns his face to the other side and says, "Are you kidding me? This is a question of the lives of millions of people. If you really know the answer to this, then tell me immediately." Then he further says that you will not do us any favor, but you will do a favor to those lakhs of people who are stuck in trouble at this time. They are coming, but Lav Lu is not worried at all. He says to it Ninan. Perg Muntri again says that he doesn't have talent at all, and on top of that he is talking such big things. If you really want me to get my granddaughter married to him, then first he will have to solve this problem within a month. Then he says, and if this solves this problem, then I promise to get my granddaughter married to him. But after that he puts another condition and says that not only this, it will have to solve 3 problems. Hearing this, Lavalu says 3 in surprise, and then a person immediately speaks. She also says, "Yes, High Minister, if the 6th prince cures his illness within just a month, then only I will think of marrying him." Hearing this, the emperor again sits holding his forehead, and then another condition is placed against Lavalu. If he could not do all this, he would be removed from the post of 6th prince and would be made a commoner. All the other ministers also immediately agree with this and say that yes, we also want the same. The emperor looks very worried, but LV Lu has a smile on his face and immediately accepts the condition. Then he looks at his dad and says, "Dad, just give me a guarantee." The emperor does not know what answer he should give, but finally under compulsion he also agrees to this compromise. As soon as the matter is over, LV Lu goes to a room where Yun Jao is waiting for him. Lav Lu tells her that whatever happened yesterday, Raj, I have tried my best to handle it. Yun Jao says, "I can agree with you, but what about the other 2, Xingyue and Nangon will never forgive you." Both the girls say, "Let's end this together, I will bring the sword right now." On hearing the name of Tihu sword, Lav Lu's consciousness goes away and he starts shouting in unison, "Have mercy on me." All 3 girls look at him carefully and say, "Eh." He gets scared and says, "Yun Go. You were saying that you will be my wife and now you are standing in front of me with a knife." On hearing this, Yun Go starts laughing. Lav Lu starts shouting in unison and says, "Untie me if you have the courage, you are going to become my concubine." Hearing this, Yun Jao smiles and says, "Oh, okay, so it is so." Saying this she unties his rope. As soon as Lav Lu is freed, he immediately starts practicing a strange hand technique and starts touching the waist. Nanga's senses are blown away. But in the next moment, showing her strength, she kicks Lav Lu hard in the chest, then she angrily asks, "I am still mine. Would you like to touch the waist?" Lav Lu barely makes any move. The poor guy is lying on the ground and Xingyue bats at him. Then she says to the other 2 girls, "Let's beat him together," after which all 3 of them together give Lav Lu a tremendous beating, saying that you were really stuck in this matter, but whatever the problem is, you have to solve it yourself. Will be made a lonely man. You all 3 of you will not refuse to marry me. All 3 remain silent for some time. First of all Yun Jao says, "If you really do all this, then I can think about it." Upon hearing this, a smile appears on Lao Lu's face. He says to all 3, "First I have to find the real culprit who trapped us all last night. Will all 3 of you come with me?" Yun Jao says immediately, "I will definitely go. I also have to catch the real culprit." Nangong also comes to her and says, "Yes, if we are all on the same side, then I will also go with you." Ching says in an angry tone, "Okay, I will also go." Saying this they all walk out of the room together. The next scene is of the dungeon. As soon as Lav Lu gets there, a Gad Juker says, "Your Highness, why have you come here?" Lav Lu replies, I have come to see how the trial of the third prince goes. It is going on. Gad says nervously, the imperial doctor told us that the third highness is very ill, so he has been sent to the hospital, where he is being treated. On hearing this, Lulu Tehran understands that some new trick is definitely being played. The third prince is unable to say anything due to fear. Lav Lu comes closer to him and says, what kind of disease is this in which you are eating food and drinking drinks with pleasure? Looks like you need better treatment. Saying this, he smiles and says, let me treat you today. On hearing this, the third prince angrily attacks him, but Lav Lu easily blocks his attack. The next moment he kicks her hard and makes her fall on the bed and then climbs on top of her and starts punching her continuously. At last he gives up and shouts, just let me tell you the truth. This whole plan was mine. I was the one who played all this trick. But even after hearing all this, Lao Lu's anger does not calm down. He says in anger, go away. It has changed, Lao Lu, how dare you beat my son so much? Ever since your mother died, you have become completely unruly. You should have taken care of your brothers. You have already beaten your brother so much. I admit that my son has made a mistake, but after all he is your son too. I promise that from today onwards I will keep it very strict. Saying here, she turned to the third prince. Seeing this, she says, stop now, pretending to be unconscious. Second prince also comes there, and starts watching the whole scene silently. Then he says to the emperor, whatever happened, now this matter should be ended here. Third brother has made a mistake, and he is also apologizing for it. His mother was murdered. He wanted to cry loudly after seeing his mother, but his mother had told him to remain silent while dying. Had hinted. As soon as the emperor remembered all this, he gets immersed in deep thought. He thinks in his mind, I never saw this child. The second prince also stands close to the emperor, but LV Lu keeps an innocent face and says, brother, forgive me, I did this by mistake. On hearing this, all the people present there are shocked. What just happened? Second, he screams and says, he has hit me in front of everyone, put him in jail immediately and I should be given justice. Then he is in the mind. He thinks to himself, I only asked him to forgive third brother, after all why did he kill me? But aside from that, if you really want to get Lav Lu's forgiveness, you have to agree to his condition. Then the emperor asks Lav Lu, what do you think about this? Lav Lu thinks for a while, and then says, okay, but this time I can't figure out what's going on. After this, Lav Lu makes a plan to go straight to Qinzhou's grandmother because he had to solve the Qingyao family's problems. Qingyao still doesn't believe that Lav Lu can solve his family's problems. Lav Lu looks at Qinzhou's uncle standing aside and says, Uncle, the man gets angry after hearing this. He comes to me and says, how dare he call me uncle? Lav Lu smiling mockingly says, why are you so shy? At least introduce me in front of everyone. On hearing this, Qinzhou's face turns red with embarrassment. At that time some other people are also present there. One of them jokingly says, wow, he turned out to be very shameless. Another man says, we heard about it. I had only heard the stories, but today for the first time I saw it with my own eyes. Then an elderly man says, you may be a prince, but you don't even have the ability to stand in front of our Qingyao family. While an elderly woman comfortably drinking tea says, Your Highness, whatever these people are saying about you, please forgive them. Lavalu immediately says smiling, yes, I have forgiven everyone. Dia, anyway in the future my marriage is going to happen in this family, so all these people will be my own. As soon as I heard this, I sat there, everyone's faces fall. The people who were smiling till now have a clear angry look on their faces. Then Lavalu talks about his relationship with Qingyao in front of everyone. Upon hearing this, Qingyao gets very angry, and she immediately punches Lavalu in the face. Then she says angrily, what did you just say? Seeing this, his uncle also gets very angry. He looks at the elders and says, he has promised that he will solve our family's problems within a month. If he really does this, then we will accept him as our son-in-law. Then grandmother softly says, Your Highness, I do not want to break your hopes, but have you ever thought about how you will solve these problems? You have no experience in these things, so it would be better to go back quietly. Let's go, we will all forget about this. After hearing grandmother's words, Lao Lu just starts smiling. Then Qinzhou's uncle says, if you want to try it, then go ahead. Grandmother smiles lightly and says, okay, if you really want to marry into our family, then you have to do one thing first. If you do that, then I will accept that you are worthy of becoming the son-in-law of this family. Lao Lu. Smiling, he immediately says, of course, I will definitely do this work. Then he looks at Qingyao and says, wife, will you come with me? On hearing this, Xingyao again gets angry and says, your wife, I became your wife since when? But even after saying this, she gets ready to go with him. After this both of them go out from there. The next scene is shown of the second prince, he is sitting comfortably. Then a man comes running up to him, and says, the 6 princes have come, and they want to talk about your treasure. The second prince closes his eyes and says leisurely, whatever he says, just remember everything, we want to see everything. Hearing this the old man says, if you want, I can even hide some special things. The second prince replies smiling, there is no need. Well, he doesn't even know what storage and inventory are. Saying this he sits down with a small smile. After some time, the same old man comes out to welcome Lavalue, and starts walking ahead of him. Lavalue also follows him. While walking, they all come across a big, I don't know how many innocent people's rights must have been raised because of this. The 6th prince smiles and consoles his wife and says, Nafsa, don't worry, whatever injustice is happening in this world, I will definitely stand up against it. I have to make a place for myself. Then all 3 of them enter inside the palace. Anyone will be surprised to see the view inside. Everywhere are decorated with precious diamonds, pearls and rare statues. The old man is smiling in his heart and thinking softly. She says, this is underestimating us. Quickly find Django sword, Ling Jun. Ku. Before we come, we have to leave with the sword. But the 6th prince remains very calm. He says, you go first and call the people. I will come here for a little. The prince comes. Did you like something? If you don't understand I can help. The prince says, show me the top 2 floors. The old man takes him up, and says proudly, today I will open your eyes. He steps forward and picks up the sword. The old man gets scared and screams, no, this is the biggest treasure in this whole place. The second prince will never allow you to take it. The prince says angrily, I am here as per the orders. The treasure attacks the old man with 4 attacks. The old man gets injured and falls down. While cleaning the blood he says, okay, so the 6th prince has done this attack. I will just tell the second prince, if you have the courage then stay here. He runs away and the girl says happily, this. It is indeed Django's sword. Then she asks, now that we have found the sword, should we go? The prince says, just one sword is not enough. What about those poor and innocent people who are in trouble? Mado thinks of them too. Quickly call people, and help me collect all this. The girl smiles lightly and says, okay, this time I am also with you in this madness of yours. On the other hand, when the injured old man reaches there with the second prince's father, he is stunned to see the scene. Outside the palace people are taking away the treasure chests. The 6th prince is standing and showing the way to everyone. Be careful friends, these are very precious things. There is no harm, he replies. Second brother, you were the one who said that I can choose anything of my choice. The old man from behind shouts, this is more than before. Yao Yao, who is wearing red, tells Ling Feng to be careful because when the fight starts, he might not be able to protect her all the time. Ling Feng smiles and places a hand on Yao Yao's shoulder, saying that he had given them permission to choose a gift, so would he want to disobey his orders? Ergo angrily says that father only allowed him to choose one thing, not the entire building. Ling Feng moves to attack him. Yao Yao also takes out her sword and gets ready to fight, but then Ling Feng suddenly picks her up in his arms. Yao Yao shouts angrily asking what he is doing. Ling Feng hits him, seeing Ergo and everyone else. The soldiers are shocked. All the other soldiers simultaneously surround Ling Feng with their swords. Ling Feng stands alone among them and gets ready for the fight. As the fight becomes more intense, Ling Feng holds the swords of 2 soldiers at once and kicks them hard and throws them away. After a while, all the soldiers are lying on the ground in front of the palace and only Ling Feng stands alone, but he puts his hand on Yao Yao's shoulder and says, now stand. Yao Yao is still in a daze. Ling Feng orders his men to quickly kick all the treasure chests onto the carts so that he can fight so well. So why does everyone think he is worthless? Yao Yao realizes that Ling Feng was pretending on purpose. Then she asks about his strange clothes. Ling Feng M. He smiles and says that he doesn't want that much, all he wants is his sword. Yao Yao further says that if someone wants to marry her, he must be brave and strong. Treasure alone will not suffice. Ling Feng comes closer to her and asks if all of them are going to be his wives and that he cannot be unfair to anyone. Hearing this, Yao Yao becomes angry. Yao Yao angrily points her finger and says that such strange names. Don't take those girls, don't marry him just because of the treasure. A nasty and fierce fight begins. Yao Yao throws herself in the air and strikes while Ling Feng easily blocks each of her blows without hurting her. Yao Yao uses all her strength and turns quickly around a treasure box and reaches behind Yao Yao and slaps her lightly, causing her to fall forward in surprise. Yao Yao turns red with anger and shouts, "You scoundrel Ling Feng, how dare you attack me?" Yao calls him a scoundrel and angrily bites him. Takes and reaches there. Therefore they should not do this. The girl standing there complains that this boy has hit her. But Lav Tai-jun scolds him and says that no one can stand before your strength. So how can Six Thanes kill you? Lav Tai-jun praises Six Thanes, saying that he is a wise person and a prince. Lav Tai-jun asks Six Thanes why she pretended to be crazy for so many years. Even if Jo was not from the family, he would have married her. Lv Tai-jun explains to him that Second Highness's power has increased greatly. If Tian-se mention supports you, he will probably get into trouble. Lav Tai-jun begins to think that because of Second Highness's strength, many forces have joined her and her family has already rejected her. He has already rejected her, so now he is an irritant in her eyes. The Sixth Highness is shocked to hear that the Qilin army really exists. The Sixth Highness accepts this condition with a smile. In the next scene he reaches a large and magnificent room and lies on the bed. Lying down, he thinks about the Qilin army, only 1,000 soldiers in it, and he puts on his new clothes and assassins and prepares for the next step. After getting ready, Sixth Highness walks out of the big door and says, "He's family, I have come." Then he gets to the front of the rest, his companion heir takes him with him to the Mu family palace, and there is a knock on the door, Ursha following him. A man stands carrying a box, the door opens and a man welcomes them, the prince walks in, and there are a lot of people just then another man, Mu Wenzheng, comes forward and taunts that the prince has brought such cheap things. Then he introduces himself saying that he is Yuja's brother. Mu Wenzheng tells the prince to go back. Moyenso says if you don't want to be insulted, then leave here. But the prince is happy in his heart that the relationship between them is very deep. When Zheng again taunts me, saying that your ability is mine, everyone knows that Ling Feng has spoiled my Yunjiao's reputation, yet he has come here shamelessly. A Yunjiao tells Ling Feng to handle this difficult situation, then another scholar makes fun of his silence. The bodyguard comes forward and asks them to leave. The bodyguard pushes the two scholars to the ground. Both of them angrily complain about Ling Feng. Yunjiao smiles and says that Ling Feng's save does not respect anyone else. The clerk asks Ling Feng about the matter of Huahao, i.e. the tax silver. Ling Feng says that he has come to tell Huahao the method of Guigong. The clerk is interested in this. He points out that common people are forced to take loans at high interest rates from landlords to survive. After this, Mulavaji decides the topic of discussion as to how to save the common people from this crisis. Luping suggests that the government should set a limit on interest and publicly announce it so that no one is cheated. Another scholar praised Luping's suggestion and called it an excellent plan. His father. Luping observes that Mojiwizi and Muzio are not satisfied with this suggestion because it has several major shortcomings. Mojiwizi asks Luping for his opinion. Ling Feng says that he has a plan for Changmia, i.e. green sprouts. Ling Feng explains that common people can take a loan from the government before they harvest is ripe and return it while paying taxes. Lu Shanqiu objects, saying that the local officials are already corrupt. They will force people and take advantage of themselves by increasing interest. Ling Feng replies that both his Qingmiao and Huahao Guigong plans work together and are interconnected. Mulavaji asks him to explain in detail. Ling Feng explains that there will be a uniform tax rate for the entire province and people will put their taxes in a special box. Ling Feng walks away and explains that this way the tax money will not end up in the hands of corrupt officials. Lu Shanqiu remains silent as to whether there is still any gap left and Mo Lawaiji openly praises this plan. Lu Shanqiu eventually bows to Ling Feng, apologizes for his past mistake, and accepts his plan. San Dianxia, i.e. the third prince, laughs and says that he has no fault. The girl says that it was fine and expects better from him in future. After this she says that it has been a long time, so now she is going to rest in her room and leaves from there. As soon as the girl leaves, the prince keeps looking at her from behind and thinks in his mind that he will have to work very hard to win the heart of this girl. Then he thinks that now they should go to San Yangji's house. She says that if Wang calls back the army then all the years of hard work and sacrifices will go in vain. And then how will they combat the enemy? The prince then tries to explain to them that Huainan Wang has been fighting the war for 2 years. Their treasury is almost empty but they have not yet been able to completely defeat the enemy. Then the prince comes very close to them and says in a low voice that retreating from the war would mean accepting defeat. Huainan Wang has already flown because they have made enemies. The entire Huainan Wangfu may also be ruined. On this, Wang Fei says that the emperor will never allow this to happen. The prince says what if his second brother attacks Huainan Wang Fu? Hearing this, the little girl sitting nearby gets very scared and Wang Fei angrily asks if he has come to threaten her. Hearing this, Xingyue becomes very sad. That more than half the people in the court are in favor of the second prince. What would happen to Huainan Wang if he did not win the war? Wang Fei reads with deep worry as to whether her family will really be able to get out of this crisis. The prince smiles and tells Qingyu that survival is most important and gives them some time to think. The prince falls to the ground screaming in pain. Third prince gets scared and asks, "What are you doing here?" Wang Fei asks in surprise whether Lu Dianxia will not suffer any harm if he kills the third prince this way. Qingyu stops Lu Dianxia, saying that her family might get into trouble because of this. But Lu Dianxia presses the third prince's face and asks if this beating has anything to do with Huinan Wangfu. The third prince starts to leave out of fear, but while leaving he threatens to take revenge. "Okay, we will talk about this after I fulfill my promise." Then he calls his companion Ursha to bring the gifts inside. Ursha brings in a large trunk which Qingyu is shocked to see. Ursha places the box on the table. Lu Dianxia walks forward and tells Qingyu that this chest contains very valuable treasures and diamond gems which he has brought especially for her. Qingyu is happy to see the open trunk and says that if all these things are sold then the problem of ration and essential items of the army deployed at the border will be solved. Lu Dianxia asks with surprise if they are not getting the goods from the court. She walks forward and continues talking while looking towards the courtyard. She then comes back to the table and takes Qingyu's hand and comforts her while Lu Dianxia watches them carefully. And then some questions to them. Lu Dianxia calmly listens to Mu Fei's compulsions. Mu Fei and Qingyu sit holding each other's hands while Lu Dianxia listens softly to them. Lu Dianxia rests her hand on her chin and sleeps deeply. Qingyu gets ready to go with him while Mu Fei feels some relief after seeing them go. In the next scene, Lu Rencheng, who is in Hobusherlong, he enters an office where Lu Hongshang is already present. Lu Rencheng and Chengzu stand in front of Lu Hongshang and give details of the accounts and finances. Chengzu respectfully folds his hands and explains the details of the amount, to which Lu Hongshang listens attentively. Lu Rencheng smiles and gives advice to Lu Hongshang, and both seem to agree. Chengzu looks worried and asks questions about further expenses. Then Lu Dianxia's laughter is heard from outside. The next moment, Lu Dianxia, Qingyu, and their companion enter through the large door. Lu Dianxia comes into the room and stands in front of Lu Hongshang while Lu Rencheng and Qingju bow in respect. Lu Hongshang looks at him with surprise and anger. Lu Dianxia confidently demands money from Lu Hongshang. Lu Hongshang rejects his demand with a contemptuous smile. Seeing this, Lu Dianxia angrily starts pacing the room. He angrily goes and stands very close to Lu Hongshang, but Lu Hongshang still arrogantly refuses him. Lu Dianxia goes very close to his face and asks the question for the last time, but Lu Hongshang still sticks to his words. Suddenly, Lu Dianxia punches him hard. He hits her, causing Lu Hongshang to fall back. Qingyu, standing at the door, covers her mouth in surprise while her partner smiles. Lu Hongshang holds his injured face, screams in pain and anger, and begins to shout threats while Lu Dianxia stands still and watches him. Lu Dianxia angrily hits the table. The table breaks into two pieces, along with the books on it. Seeing it disintegrate, Lu Hongshang turned back in fear. Lu Dianxia slowly moves closer to him and asks the question for the last time in a very scary manner. Lu Hongshang immediately agrees while trembling with fear, after which Lu Dianxia starts smiling again, puts his hand on his shoulder in a friendly manner, and signals his companion to bring the silver inside. His companion Chan Lingju bows his head respectfully and walks away. Lin Feng says that as usual, aid money has to be distributed to the families of soldiers. Lin Feng tells the man the whole story and goes away from there. If Lin Feng is not made a citizen, he will be called his grandson. In the next scene, another woman Wang Fei standing near Rat is surprised to see so much silver. Lin Feng tells her mother Wang Fei that now is not the time for these things. First of all, give orders to call the families of Genin army to the palace. Lin Feng stands behind watching and Wang Fei looks at him seriously. Wang Fei agrees and orders everyone to be called. In the next scene, many poor people and their children are seen gathered in the courtyard of the palace, looking worried. A woman and her daughter talk among themselves about whether AAD will really get the assistance money. Then a man says that since Wang Fei has called, it must be true. Just then Lin Feng, Wang Fei and the girl come out and it is announced that the money will now be distributed. Lin Feng orders that all the silver be turned over in the courtyard. People are surprised to see so many silver coins and start crying with joy that they really got help. People get emotional and start hugging each other. Wang Fei also becomes emotional after seeing this scene. An elderly woman sits on the ground and thanks Wang Fei. Wang Fei wakes up the old lady and says that Lin Feng tells everyone to stay calm and asks to get the money quickly. He then tells Wang Feng to start the work early so that there will be no trouble later. After this, the work of distributing money starts. It is now becoming a habit for Lin Feng to call her his mistress, and if she fulfills his condition, Lin Feng is happy to hear that he himself has admitted this. Then suddenly the palace soldiers come and tell Lutheran that the emperor should punish Lu Dianxia. The emperor asks him to get up, and says that when Lu Dianxia, the sixth highness, comes, he will talk to him himself. Only then it is announced that Lu Dianxia subs Lin Feng at ease. Goes to the emperor and asks if they have called him. Dianxia says don't pretend in front of the emperor, you have been called for punishment. Lin Feng asks what mistake has he made. Dianxia shouts angrily asking if he is deaf for not listening to him. Lin Feng also angrily points his finger at him and says that he is talking to the emperor, and what does Dianxia want to prove by interrupting him again and again? Does he consider himself greater than the emperor? Dianxia gets nervous and tells the emperor that he had no such intention, he was only speaking on behalf of Lutheran. The emperor says there is no need to explain. The emperor asks Lin Feng that Lutheran has told that he has taken the tax money to China. Is this true? Lin Feng replies that he did not embezzle the money but distributed it among the families of the Jinan army, which is much better than Dianxia's wasteful spending. Lutheran then shouts that Lin Feng is speaking jut, he has embezzled the money and many people have seen all this with their own eyes. The emperor asks Dianxia about this. Dianxia Junker apologizes and says that he did not take any money and no. The emperor angrily looks at Lin Feng and asks if this is all true. Lin Feng just smiles. Then a minister comes to the court and informs the emperor that the money that Lu Dianxia took with him is currently being distributed among the families of the Jinan army in Wangfu. Then Lin Feng comes up behind them. Lu Dianxia sixth highness follows them and starts watching them carefully. The emperor listens to both of them carefully. The emperor is listening and thinks that Lin Feng has solved a big problem for him. Because due to the shortage in the treasury, they were not able to take a decision about the amount of aid to the soldiers. Then they look at Lutheran and ask his opinion on this matter. Lutheran looks upset and looks towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng also stares at him angrily and manhwa and thinks that if Lutheran does not drop this matter and everything comes out, then he will be the one to lose. Then Lutheran is on the ground. He gets down on his knees and apologizes to the emperor and says that it was his fault that he was being too strict. After this, the scene changes to the beautiful bridges on the water where many people have gathered. Two common men are talking among themselves that this time Lu Dianxia i.e. Lin Feng is also coming to participate in this ceremony. The second man asks if he is the same mad prince. The first man says that yes, that is what he has heard. Wamo has come for the girl of the family so that he can prove his skills. Then in the next scene, Lin Feng comes walking on the bridge with one of his companions and says that it is very lively here. Then he sees the girls standing in front and calls out to them. Lin Feng calls those three girls Danyangzier.